Tiferes Yisrael Shul is a prominent display on the skyline of the old City of Yerushalayim. You can see it from Talpiot. It's remarkable. It challenges, if not beats, the beauty of the Tiferet Shul. It was built by the Ruzhiner Rebbe in the 19th century, the 1800s. He sent his Talmud, Nisan, back to build it. It cost a fortune, and the Ruzhiner Rebbe was pure malchus, and he refused to have it built in anything less than grandeur, malchus. The building you're looking at now cost $18 million to restore. When they were originally building it, they didn't have that dome on top, and the Ruzhiner refused to put on a regular roof, and they had to come up with the funds. And the Ruzhiner said that, a shul without a dome is like a king without a crown. The shul was left a decade without a roof. Franz Joseph was visiting the old city, and he sees this building, it's missing the top, and he says, why is it missing a roof? So Nisan Bak told him, Your Majesty, this shul is tipping its hat towards you as a sign of respect. And Franz Joseph loved that, and he donated 1,000 francs to the construction, to finish the roof. So they call that the Franz Joseph's cap, that yarmulke over there. They're the crown for this crown jewel of the old city. Nisan Bak bought it very quickly because Tsar Nicholas I had his eye on this property to build it as a church. And there really was a race for a long time for property here to institutionalize religions. Right, there are 4 quarters, and everyone wants a piece of it. So Nisan Bak snuck in, and he bought it really quickly. That's why this isn't the Russian compound, it's the Jewish quarter. The Arabs in particular wanted the shul off the map because if you look at pictures of the old city in the 19th century, the early 1900s, the beauty of the shul far outshone the beauty of the mosque they have on Temple Mount, Har HaBayis. So one of the first places where they wanted to attack was the Tiferes Yisrael Shul. This was the last stand for the defenders of the old city. There was a 9-year-old Nisim Gini who died in this war right here in Tiferes Yisrael Shul. They had children fighting in the war. Everyone fought in the war. There were 48 casualties in the old city that couldn't be buried in Har HaZeisim at the time. They're actually buried here, and of them were a number of children. And everyone was there to help, and the children were able to carry ammunitions and set up, sandbags, whatever they could do. It was a very, very, very good setup, a very good defense, and the Jordanians were not able to get through until they brought this bomb that they nicknamed the Whale. It was a 220-pound explosive, and that actually did blow a hole in the Israeli defenses, and they made it into the Tiferes Yisrael Shul. But the commander noticed that they weren't actually invading. Instead, the first thing they did when they busted in here was to loot the shul. Like, they forget why they were here. They were completely selfish, and you found this by the Beit Machzeh, by Rothschild. They had pictures of them looting the Beit Machzeh when the Jordanians were here until 1967. So in 1948, when they finally blasted in with the Whale, they were just looting, and the Israelis were able to change the tide and push the Jordanians out because they were totally not focused on their agenda. They were just stealing stuff. But eventually the Jordanian forces were too much, and they took over and gathered all the Yidden in Beit Machzeh, and the Jordanian rule began from the downfall here in Tiferes Yisrael Shul. And now, 2026, you see the buildings back up, and the skyline is magnificent, and Amir Tashem will be able to stand over there and watch the Karbanos being brought in Beis HaMikdash with a beautiful view. And there's a minion here for now, just to plant the flag of the Hasidim. This is the Hasidic Shul of the old city. You have the Tiferet Shul has the Ashkenazim and the Gra, and you have the 4 shuls for the Sephardim, and this is where the Hasidim planted the flag. And it really does represent the Malchus of Yiddishkeit, of Hasidus, of the Ruzhiner Rebbe.